Now coming back to the periodic table of the elements, we just said that we saw lanthanide contraction. The result was that the oxides became less and less basic across the series of lanthanides from 57 to 71 lutetium. Lutetium was the least basic and it was more acidic. Most basic is lanthanum oxide. Now in case of actinium also it is a similar situation. Lawrencium will show least basic nature, while actinium will show more basic nature. Now what we can see that in case of lanthanides, the post lanthanide elements of here hafnium, tantalum, tungsten, rhenium, they are having similar size to that of the fifth period elements zirconium, niobium, molybdenum, technetium. You can see in the fifth period and the sixth period their sizes are same. But this is not so for the actinide contraction. The actinide contraction is there, but not so much as the lanthanide contraction, because of which you won't find any chemical twins in the 6th and the 7th series. That is, hafnium and rutherfordium will not show similar atomic size. But let us see what other differences we can see due to the lanthanide and the actinide contraction. We can say that these elements of actinides, they are showing very unique properties. They can form oxocations, which the lanthanides cannot. Moreover, these elements of the actinides here at the bottom you can see, they can form very bright colored complexes. Now, the chemical properties we will soon find out how they differ for the lanthanides and the actinides. These lanthanides are very reactive metals. They burn easily in air, they ignite at elevated temperatures and burn brightly. They react with water in cold and hot conditions and liberate hydrogen. You can see here LNOH thrice, the lanthanum hydroxide is formed and hydrogen is liberated. They react with hydrogen also very readily and form hydrides. They are strong reducing agents. That means, what will you say? The hydrides are not very stable. They combine with non-metals and form binary compounds. So, lanthanum chloride, the halogens, they are the ones who will combine with lanthanum or lanthanides and they form binary compounds. The lanthanides and actinides react with chlorine and bromine to form chlorides and bromides easily. Next, we represent the equations here. Ln plus 3H2 giving you LnH3, that is a hydride. Then Ln plus carbon giving you carbide, Ln2C3. With water it forms a hydroxide. With nitrogen it forms a nitride, Ln. Ln is having plus 3 oxidation state, nitrogen minus 3, and so Ln nitride is just Ln. With acids they react to give the halides, LnCl3, and hydrogen is liberated. Now what about the actinides? All actinides don't behave in a similar way, but for thorium the reactions have been studied and it is seen that thorium easily gets oxidized to thorium oxide, THO2. It forms a hydride also with hydrogen at elevated temperatures. With sulfur it forms sulfide. With boron it forms borides. Now when it is heated in air it will form nitrides with different composition. Again here with halogens it gives you the halides and with carbon it gives you carbides. So thorium is pretty reactive we can say, but all these reactions you can see are taking place at high temperature except for this when you are heating in air. Then the nitrides will be formed, but still the temperature is almost 600 degrees Celsius. Okay. Next, how is uranium extracted and what are its uses? Uranium ore is removed from the mines by drilling in the mines or by using shovels or sometimes by blasting. It all depends on how deep these rocks containing uranium are. If they are very deep, then we have to use drilling, blasting, and if they are just on the surface or just below the surface, we can use shovels. Once the mineral ore is brought to the surface, the next step is to crush the ore. This step is called milling. There are mills which are going to crush or pulverize the ore of uranium into fine particles. Now, what is the need for doing so? The need is that the other unwanted mineral particles get separated from uranium. Leaching, that is washing or dissolving that ore in some such solvent so that it forms a soluble salt. Here we leach using H2SO4 concentrated. The undissolved material is the unwanted rock matter that remains as solid form. The reactions that take place in this leaching is shown like this. UO3 plus 2H plus giving you UO2 2 plus plus H2O. UO2 2 plus plus sulfate ions giving you UO2 SO4 3 4 minus. That is the sulfate of the oxocation of uranium. Now UO2 is oxidized to UO3. So far the reactions were like this in this process.